acceptable minimum age, I'm afraid. David Besnard and Christian Jones, that's a result of the races from race 1, determines the grid for race 2. So this is how they finished yesterday. Great win by David Besnard. Marcus Ambrose and Stephen Johnson out of row 2. Tim Leahy and Paul Weel out of row 3. Stuart McColl, the Formula 4 driver, filling in for Scotty Dixon. He's in there too.
Simon Wills is also in there, the reigning Formula Holden champion. Leanne Ferrier, Formula Ford star this season, and Christian Murchison, who was the Rookie of the Year in Formula Holden terms. So watch for him at the back of the grid. He's pretty quick, young Christian.
It's a great innovation by the organisers at Honda Indy 300 this year. All driving identical Honda Integra Type Rs. Little cars powered by high revving 1.8 litre 4-cylinder engines, produce about 141 kilowatts. They're a real little hot rod, these things. Honda Australia has made a few modifications to them in terms of safety, but they're basically as supplied as you'd buy off the showroom floor.
I think one of the great things about this series, Mark, unlike some one-make series where you buy a package deal or a package arrangement where you've at a certain point got to pay for your own repair bills, with these things, these guys can actually walk away. So it could be on for young and old here this afternoon. I think it will be.
So it would suit Bill down to the ground.
It would. But they're not Saabs,
With this, the difficult thing for some of the guys, and I was talking to Leanne Ferrier, she was saying it's really strange to get used to driving a front-wheel drive car again. With a front-wheel drive car, it's really sensitive when you put power on and take power off. You know, you halfway around a corner on one of these things, you're running a bit wide, you back it off, and it will just change ends as quick as anything.
The Aussie Home Loans Young Guns getting ready to blast off in race 2. It's been a tremendous initiative, great opportunity for these drivers. David Besnard, Christian Jones starting off the front row.
We're away, Mark, in the Aussie Home Loans Young Guns Challenge, flying towards the chicane for the first time, and a fairly clean start there.
David Besnard, great start off pole position. He earned that as a result of his win yesterday. Let's hope this field can get through cleanly. Identical Honda Integra Type R has been supplied for this great challenge, where the young guns of Australian motorsport can really strut their stuff. Keep in mind, the overall winner of this event will earn a test drive with the Doricott team at Indy Lights. So it's a pretty big carrot they're dangling in front of these stars. Let's see how they go today. David Besnard, the man of the moment, but he's under attack. Under attack up
Christian
the inside.
Jones. Christian Jones has gotten through on him.
It looks like Marcus Ambrose trying to get a slice of the action as well. Look at Christian under. Oh, look at how hard this suspension's working on these cars. They're really giving it everything. Climbing all over each other. Now Marcus Ambrose goes wide in the white car, running right alongside the fence line. Drag race with David Besnard as they flash under our camera. Stephen Johnson's in there too.
The only hope is on the brakes. I mean, speed-wise, they'd be identical. It just, you may see one look a little bit...
Oh! Bit of contact there between Ambrose. He sneaks up the inside of Besnard. Stephen Johnson in the yellow car on the outside wants to take another place as well.
How close to the wall are they going there? And Christian Jones, while these guys are battling away for second position, he's managed to clear out.
Fantastic action so far in the Aussie Home Loans Young Guns race on the streets of Surfers Paradise. Here they come. Christian Jones.
Got a healthy lead there.
Taking the lead from David Besnard. Marcus Ambrose, Stephen Johnson. Oh! Bang!
Well, look.
I think that's Christian Murchison who's gone around there. Car 7.
Crowd giving him the big cheer. Murcho had a wild ride. Look at the damage he's done to the front of the car. But he manages to continue. Boy, oh boy, what a scary moment.
Christian this season has been campaigning open wheelers, the Rookie of the Year. Formula Holden, a former Formula Ford campaigner as well, stepped up big time to tin tops, driving the Castrol Commodore, the second of the Castrol Commodores in the recent Queensland 500 with Luke Youlden. Look at him here.
Oh yeah, just touched the old curves there, and the back started to go. What happens then, naturally as the back goes, you tend to back it off, which makes it even worse. The only thing you can do to get out of it is just stand on the brakes, still on the power.
And how well placed were those tyre barriers? Absorbed a lot of energy there. That car could have been heavily damaged if it had gone straight into the concrete wall. But those tyres really softening the blow. So the first time around, Christian Jones, Marcus Ambrose.
Oh, look at this! What's happening? Whoa! Oh, dear me, what was all that about?
Whoa, car 35.
Scott Dixon, well, not Scott Dixon in fact.
Simon Wills that was.
And Stuart McColl taking evasive action as well.
Stuart McColl driving Scotty Dixon's car. So Scott not taking the grid today. We hear that Paul Weel has been given a stop-go penalty for jumping the start, so these guys are keen to win.
I will only have to remind him about that every V8 race from now on.
Yes. David Besnard, yesterday's winner. Continuing on in third position there, doing a tremendous job at the moment. Up ahead of him, Marcus Ambrose, who's been campaigning open wheelers in Europe this season. Oh!
Oh, dear.
I think you'll find that was Stephen Johnson, wasn't it? No, in fact, might have been Tim Leahy. Having a brief moment there.
Yeah, it was Tim.
So they've worked down towards the Foster's chicane again. In fact, MCI Comesses.
Look at this battle now. Simon Wills defending hard. They're all climbing all over each other. Car 35, Stuart McCall, the man who did so well in Formula Ford racing this year, driving the car that was originally allocated for the Flying Kiwi, Scott Dixon. Due to a contractual problem in the build-up to this event, he was not able to take the wheel. So great action. Christian Jones, Marcus Ambrose, David Besnard, that's your top three. Tim Leahy, Steve Johnson, Stuart McCall. That's back to Simon Wills, Leanne Ferrier, Paul Weel and Christian Murchison. Lucky to survive that moment at the Foster chicane. He's back in action.
Simon Wills in car one, the first of the two black cars there, the young Kiwi. Reigning Formula Holden champion, has won it 2 years in a row now.
Keep in mind, to get a good result here, you've got to be consistent. The winning prize will be determined on accumulated points. 20 points for the winner from yesterday's race. And at the moment, with those 2 points combined, Christian Jones has got the biggest point score. So if he can bring this one home, he's going to win the Aussie Home Loans Young Guns Challenge. But we've got a lot of
Problem there for Stuart McCall, maybe a missed gear because Leanne Ferrier has gone straight past. They're both Formula Ford drivers this season.
Great shot from the chopper. This battle continues. Car 8, Christian Jones, the red Honda Integra with Marcus Ambrose, car 9 behind him, the white machine.
So if you look at Christian Jones, he's not getting high up the curves, and that's a good thing to do in a road car, because basically what it does, compresses the suspension. Then when it unloads itself, it puts the thing, you know, throws the thing really out of balance, and then it rolls over on the sides of the tyres and all that kind of stuff, and driving it very smoothly.
22-year-old Christian Jones at the front of the field, son of 1980 Formula One world champion Alan Jones, doing a good job from Marcus Ambrose. We're enjoying all the action here in the Aussie Home Loans Young Guns. Jones leading the way from Ambrose. David. Surface Paradise bathed in bright, beautiful sunshine for the running of the 2000 Honda Indy. And this is one of the great support categories introduced this season. The Honda Indy taking on the Aussie Home Loans Young Guns. And this is what's happened during the ad break. Marcus Ambrose dives deep down the inside of Christian Jones. And look at this big lock-up.
Fantastic car control.
It really was. I mean, that was just beyond the threshold of adhesion there. Everyone thought he was going to head into the barriers, but he managed to gather it up. He's got enormous car control. Marcus Ambrose, the 24-year-old, runner-up in the Australian Formula Ford Championship back in 1997. Last year, he won the European Formula Ford title and was voted Australian Driver and Young Driver of the Year. He's a guy with an enormous amount of talent.
Simon Wills and Tim Leahy going at it head-to-head here to Formula Holden. Hot shoes.
Oh, I'd have to say that was quite naughty, Simon.
Simon Wills in the black car, the Kiwi in the appropriate colour. And car 22, Tim Leahy, is getting served up there. Christian Jones, though, has done a great job all weekend. He's sitting there in second place, but since Ambrose has barged through, he's just opened up a few car lengths on him.
Now you see in the background, the yellow car is car 17, Stephen Johnson in third place. Wills is now up to fourth after that bold passing manoeuvre on Tim Leahy. Then it's Stuart McCall, Leanne Ferrier in seventh, Murchison eighth, Paul Weel in ninth. David Besnard has dropped back to 10th. Look at Johnson.
Well, that's what the officials will be looking at too.
Exactly.
He's just been given a warning for curb hopping, and you can see he had the wheels right over those witches' hats. Just as well they're nailed to the ground, because he would have scattered them like 9 pins.
I tell you what is really surprising is the amount of distance the front three have pulled out, because normally you get a one-make thing, you get it much closer.
Oh, this is Christian Murchison again, is it?
Yeah.
Indeed it is.
Oh, no!
It's a Telstra turn there, gee.
Oh,
that car has got short back and sided this afternoon, hasn't it?
Yeah, Mr. Honda, you can have your car back.
Never raced or rallied. One careful.
Only driven on Sundays.
One lap remains.
4.5 kilometres for Marcus Ambrose. currently at the top of the points in the Aussie Home Loans Young Guns battle, so they can bring it home in the lead. He will claim that prize of an Indy Lights test in the United States. Meanwhile, yesterday's race winner, David Besnard, right at the other end of the fortune spectrum. He's in 10th. So I don't know what happened there.
Must be something wrong with that car, Mark. His last lap around a 4:22, which is 2 minutes off the pace of the rest of the field. So
2 minutes off the pace.
Stephen Johnson currently in third. 26-year-old just there. But he got a warning by the officials for too much jumping over the curbs. But here's Marcus Ambrose, 24-year-old Tasmanian, trying to get a ride, a competitive ride. Both the French Formula 3 Championship this year, that didn't work out. And then picked up a few drives in the British Series. There's David Besnard. So he's out of the race, some problem.
Fricky talking to him on the left there, V8 supercar driver who will team up with Paul Weel at the FAI 1000 at Bathurst, and owner of a Honda dealership as well, Mark.
Yeah, he's had a big involvement in setting up the Aussie Home Loans Young Guns category. Look at this.
Besnard is a good driver.
Oh, yeah.
See him go at the Queensland 500 in qualifying in the race. He was brilliant.
He was certainly the find of the season,
Massive,
particularly in the Konica V8 Supercar Series. He came out and won the round at Lakeside Raceway and was dominant in the final round of the championship at Mallala. So a sad ending to his day. Up in front, though, these guys continuing to ride the curbs. Drew Foster's S's Christian Jones in second. Our leader, Marcus Ambrose.
2-year-old Christian finished second in the National Formula 4 Championship 2 years ago. It's a great effort. Currently driving a Ferrari for the Prancing Horse team in the GTP Nations Cup. He does have aspirations of competing overseas in open wheelers again, but I think he's been pipped at the post here by Marcus Ambrose. I don't know what Marcus's future is, whether he wants to pursue a drive overseas, but pick a Jag, driving V8 supercars would be fantastic. Great to see him racing back on home soil.
Does have a love for open wheeler racing, Mark, and on course to get that test with Doricott Racing, the team that Jason Bright has driven for this season in the Indy Lights Championship. So he will take it out. Marcus Ambrose on course to collect the checkered flag in race 2 of the Aussie Home Loans Young Guns. He brings it across the line ahead of Christian Jones. And there is third place, young Stephen Johnson, who's improved his times this weekend, particularly in V8 supercar terms as well. So having an enjoyable weekend, young Stephen on the Gold Coast.
Crowd giving a big round of applause to the Australian Young Guns. So they should do. That was an outstanding performance. Great duel between Marcus Ambrose and Christian Jones. Settled down a little bit toward the end there. They really attacked from the moment they got the green light. So Marcus Ambrose, the man back in the spotlight. It's the trouble, Baz, isn't it? When the Australians leave, they go and compete overseas, they're not in the glare of media coverage, and people tend to forget about them.
Well, they do, but he's done incredibly well, you know, in the Formula 4 thing and that. It's, she's having a laugh now. And the sad thing about it is, I think, for Australian sportsmen in general, is the fact they have to go to Europe to establish themselves, and then all of a sudden they get credibility over here.
Yeah.
And it's massively difficult to raise the funds to go in the first place.
Wonderful concept by Honda, the event sponsor here in the Pocket Rocket Integra Type R's. Marcus Ambrose takes it out from Christian Jones.